Hi, Gary Klaban here. Sometimes it's easier with intangibles, things we can't feel or touch, to talk about it in terms of a story. And this is a story about Sarah, Samantha, and Mike. Now, Sarah has saved up $40,000, and Samantha, a friend of hers, comes to her and says, I'm starting an e-commerce company. I would like if you could give me $10,000. And Sarah says, I'll do that, but I want 10% ownership, and so she gets a stock certificate from Samantha. About 6 months later, Mike comes to her and says, hey, would you like to invest in my company for $10,000? Now Sarah says, you know what, I'm not going to do a stock, but I will lend you the money in a loan, in debt, that you could pay me back in 5 years at 10%. So what's a stock? Well, stock is just purely share of ownership in a company, really small or large. And it's also called equity or shares or stock. Bond is a debt instrument. It's issued by corporations, governments, municipalities. It's usually a set interest rate over a set number of years where you're paid at interest over monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annually, and then you're paid back the principal at the end of that time frame. So what happens in a good scenario? So Sam triples the company 5 years later and gives Sarah $30,000 back. She made $20,000. Cool. Mike as well tripled his company, but in this case, he gives Sarah back $5,000 because he paid her $1,000 a year over 5 years, and they gave her original $10,000 back. That's still not bad. It's pretty good. What about a bad scenario? Sam's company goes under, Sarah gets nothing. Mike's company goes under, and they got a bunch of furniture and computers and a bunch of elements, and they get sold on eBay, and she stands in line with the other creditors, and then maybe she gets 50 cents to 80 cents on the dollar, so she gets something back in that case. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and do these small kinds of investments that are very risky, but when you look at the stock market and the bond market, this is basically what you're dealing with from a risk standpoint and the kind of instrument that a stock and a bond is. And really, when you're putting everything together based on your goals and your objectives and where you're going, it's really important to really understand what's a stock and what's a bond.